Good evening. History gets made in odd places. A Ghanaian forward named in an English team for the first time. A Nigerian striker signing for Bristol. Small facts that would have been impossible a generation back. Meanwhile, Colombia, which took in more displaced people than almost anyone, has decided it has had enough. The door swings both ways now. A Ghanaian footballer has been named in the Premier League Team of the Year for the first time. Antoine Semenyo received the honor from the Professional Footballers Association after an outstanding season with Manchester City. The forward made his debut for City on January 10th last year in an FA Cup match against Exeter. City won that game 10-1. His performances throughout the campaign earned him a place in the team selected by his fellow professionals. No Ghanaian player had achieved that before. Soccernet reported this. Taiwan has charged 9 people with illegally exporting advanced artificial intelligence servers to mainland China. The servers contain graphics processing units known as B300S, which are banned from sale to China. Among those charged are 2 employees from Supermicro and 1 from NVIDIA. Prosecutors announced the charges on Monday. The case adds fresh tension to the technology rivalry between the United States and China. Both countries are competing for dominance in artificial intelligence development. Export controls on advanced chips have become a key battleground in that competition. The B300 processors are considered high-end equipment for AI work. Guardian World reported this. Federal authorities will be watching polling sites in Charleston, South Carolina on Tuesday. The Department of Justice is sending monitors to observe the Republican Senate primary runoff there. 4 attorneys from the Civil Rights Division will be on the ground. They'll be joined by an assistant U.S. attorney from South Carolina and a staffer from the U.S. Attorney's Office. The Justice Department routinely monitors elections in certain jurisdictions to ensure compliance with federal voting rights laws. Charleston is among the locations selected for observation during this runoff election. The Hill reported this. 2 people have died from measles in Pennsylvania. Both were unvaccinated. Health experts say vaccination rates across the United States have been falling. That decline has allowed measles to return in some areas. The disease was once nearly wiped out in America through widespread immunization programs. Doctors had considered it largely eradicated. The Pennsylvania deaths mark a troubling shift. Measles is highly contagious and spreads through the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. The virus can cause serious complications, including brain damage and death, particularly in young children. Adults can also die from the infection, as these 2 cases show. Public health officials warn that communities with low vaccination coverage remain vulnerable to outbreaks. Al Jazeera reported this. The Trump administration is still talking about whether to suspend higher tariffs on ground beef imports. No decision has been made yet. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins was asked about the plan by reporters outside the White House on Tuesday. She said she couldn't discuss the details. The conversations are still going, according to Rollins. The tariffs affect imported ground beef. The administration had been considering a temporary suspension of the higher rates, but it remains unclear when or if that will happen. The Hill reported this. The United States is still talking about beef tariffs. Colombia, which hosted more displaced people than almost anyone, has now decided to send irregular migrants home. Colombia is changing its approach to migration. The country has been the main destination for Venezuelans leaving their country for more than a decade. Now President Abelardo de la Espriella has ordered a crackdown. The Migration Authority and police will work together starting this week. Their job is to find foreigners without proper legal status and deport them. Colombia has hosted irregular migrants for years without taking this kind of action. That policy is now over. MercoPress reported this. Chile says it will lodge a formal complaint with Argentina over remarks made by a senior military officer. Brigadier General Gustavo Javier Valverde called the Strait of Magellan and the Drake Passage a matter of Argentine sovereignty. Both waterways lie in Chilean territory. The Foreign Ministry in Buenos Aires has distanced itself from the Air Force chief's comments. It acknowledged treaties signed in 1881 and 1984 that define the southern border between the 2 countries. Santiago announced it would make a formal protest through diplomatic channels. Buenos Aires Times reported this. Bristol City have signed a new striker. The championship club announced today that Nigerian forward Elijah Adebayo has joined on a free transfer. He's 28 years old and has agreed a 2-year contract. This is Bristol City's 10th signing of the summer. The club are building their squad before the new season starts. Complete Sports and G reported this. A basketball player is facing criticism over a social media post about white privilege. Dijonai Carrington, who plays guard for the Chicago Sky, has been involved in an on-court confrontation with Sophie Cunningham of the Indiana Fever. The incident has sparked a furore online. Carrington has now responded to her critics. She's told them to do their research. The controversy continues to generate debate on social media. BBC Basketball reported this. North Fly Province is in a critical stage of the El Niño disaster. That's the warning from the province's Member of Parliament in the National Assembly. James Donnell has challenged the Health, HIV, and National Emergency Services Minister to explain how relief funds will be distributed. He directed his question to Dr. Billy Joseph during parliamentary proceedings. Donald wants to know when help will arrive. The El Niño weather pattern has been causing drought and food shortages across Papua New Guinea's lowland areas. North Fly is one of the country's most remote provinces. PNG Post Courier reported this.